Ponytails. Read by Scribbler. Rules of Engagement by Craine. Somewhere between Rarity's frazzled mane, dripping sweat, and quaking legs, Applejack reconsidered this entire meeting. In fact, Applejack had her doubts long before, when she had first confronted the problem. Rarity's problem. As simple and plain as the farm life, Rarity couldn't fight. Period. Once before, Applejack may have considered the unicorn's prowess given her feistiness during Twilight's first slumber party. The boldness, the uncracking determination to be on top, to win every argument, no matter how absurd. And the pillow fight! Indeed, it seemed Rarity could hold her own in a physical conflict. Then came the Diamond Dogs. Applejack was the first to visit Rarity the day after that fiasco. The problem had to be addressed. Rarity had to understand that fancy words, no matter how whiny or mind-grating, didn't always work. Applejack was no liar, and Rarity seemed to forget that, actually tearing up a bit at the farmer's harsh but true words. Rarity couldn't deny. Any pony who knew Rarity couldn't deny. Rarity couldn't fight. So, with averted eyes and a sticky, dry gulp, she agreed to Applejack's terms. Rarity would subject herself to the art of battle. She would forswear her sense of decency with a puffed chest and a proud chin. She would learn to fight. Threats of muddy tracks on every square inch of Carousel Boutique helped, of course. And now, 3 days later, in the lush, hilly, crisp, heavily unpopulated fields of Sweet Apple Acres, stood Applejack and the quibbling wreck she could loosely recognize as Rarity. Applejack was no liar, not even to herself. She felt terrible about this, but it was all out of love. Yes, that's it. Good old, tough beat-your-face-in love.
Don't be so nervous, Sugar Cube,
Applejack said with her best consoling smile. Rarity jolted to attention, apparently not knowing how long she'd been staring at the grass.
Nervous? Who's nervous? I'm certainly not nervous.
The moment Applejack kicked a hoof-sized rock before her, Rarity squealed and coiled back like a well-oiled spring. Applejack smiled sadly, almost losing her own nerve, almost giving Rarity another day to ready herself. But 3 extra days was more than enough. This had to be done. Soon, lest momentum be lost to Rarity's pleading wet eyes. Applejack walked to her friend with a smooth, brisk pace. Rarity forced her posture straight again, and shook even harder.
It's not as bad as it seems, Rares,
Applejack said, her eyes as gentle as she hoped they were. Obviously, that didn't work. Rarity was still shaking. Worse than before, in fact.
I don't know what to do,
Rarity whined. Applejack winced tightly, completely reluctant to look at those eyes any longer. But she did so anyway, her own eyes now aglow with pride, determination.
There's enough there now,
she commanded. On cue, Rarity snapped to attention, her flesh now rigid and still. That was a start. Still, Applejack wasn't blind to the challenges. She could not teach Rarity as she taught her sister Applebloom. A different approach was needed.
Fighting ain't all that scary, really,
Applejack began.
In fact, once you get past the pain, blood, fractured bones, and minor brain damage, it's kind of fun.
Applejack frowned, noticing too late Rarity grimace more and more after every word.
Oh.
Maybe she should have knocked her lights out and got it over with.
What I mean is...
Applejack cleared her throat.
The first time is always scary, and painful, of course, but once you get a feel for it, it's easy as breathing.
Applejack's heart swelled with relief as Rarity's eyes brightened.
You mean like sex?
Applejack never knew the feeling of a wrecking ball crashing into her face. But Rarity's comparison was just that, a wrecking ball to the face. She shook her head violently, if only to fade the blush that she knew was there.
Of all the... I don't even... What the f... Yes, it's exactly like that,
Applejack said as matter-of-factly as she could. Somehow, some way, Rarity's ear-to-ear smile made Applejack die a little inside.
That sounds wonderful!
Rarity cheered.
If fighting is anything like carnal affairs, then I could really get behind it.
Finally, Applejack simply couldn't look at Rarity any longer.
Yeah, right.
A long silence unnerved Applejack. She dared to peek at Rarity, and immediately she wished she was somewhere else.
Applejack, surely you aren't telling me that you haven't...
Never, in all her natural-born days, had Applejack cursed her inability to lie. She needn't say a word, though. Her averted gaze was blunt as any truth.
Good heavens, darling! With how you've spoken of brutal poundings, taking and giving again and again until you've collapsed from exhaustion, I figured you...
Well, I haven't!
Applejack shouted, every bit as harsh as she intended.
Now, if you don't mind, we got lessons to get back to.
Preposterous, I say! No friend of mine will be ignorant to the rules of engagement!
Rarity declared with a skyward hoof. Applejack stared at Rarity like she'd asked what colour the sky was. Applejack double-took Rarity's words and meaning, and felt herself glaring fiercely at the unicorn. Rarity either didn't notice or didn't care.
Rules of engagement?
Applejack echoed in angry disbelief.
I'll have y'all know that I've seen plenty of stallions in my time.
Suddenly, Rarity's face was unbearably close to the farmer's.
And yet, Applejack, and yet,
she hissed.
Why, I've half a mind to say that the first rule escapes you.
Right then, right there, any shame for this meeting evaporated from the heat blasting off of Applejack. With a flat glare and a squared chin, she smashed her hoof into Rarity's face. Like a springy limp noodle, Rarity's neck straightened again, her face blank, her eyes hollow. It was quick. So quick, neither pony was certain which way Rarity's head turned, or how far. Seconds passed, and without a word or a shred of consciousness, Rarity collapsed.
First rule of engagement,
Applejack began with a turn on her hoof.
Talking is half the battle.
With the slightest shadow of a smile, Applejack sauntered away from her unconscious friend.
See you tomorrow, Rarity. Same time, same place.
That was Rules of Engagement. It was written by Craine and read by Scribbler, with special guest voice actors Kate Bug as Rarity and Hayley Marie 00 as Applejack. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I cannot talk particularly well at this point because I have just woken up, and I have just woken up when I fell asleep on Suki, which seems to be becoming which seems to be becoming a Friday night ritual. I was promised myself I will do loads of work on a Friday night, and then when I finish my tea, absolutely zonkoed on Suki. And she doesn't complain, because apparently I make as good a hot water bottle as she does. I must apologise for the quality of this recording. I'm having to use the internal mic because, yeah, it's really quite late, and setting up the proper mic would be quite noisy and I would end up waking up the people who stepped over me to get to bed and didn't wake me up when I was snoring in the middle of the hallway. Ah! So, this is a little later in upload than I expected. Mainly because this fic was meant to be up last week, but I got so involved in recording and then preparation for work and all sorts of different things on Saturday and Sunday that I just didn't have time to record this end blurb, put together the actual video and upload it. And then every night this week it's been pretty much the same story. One of the things I've been working on has been my Halloween special, which I changed the project I was doing midweek, so it's been a bit of a scramble. But I think people are going to like this one better than what I had originally planned, so watch this space. I'm going to keep this relatively short today, because as I said, I've just woken up, and it is currently 3 a.m. So a very long outro is not going to happen tonight, because I can barely speak. I seem to have lost the power of speech while drooling, while asleep in the middle of the hallway, with my family stepping over me and not waking me up, because that's how they roll. Yeah. So, without further ado, I would like to show some fan art that I received in the last 2 weeks that this one really quite touched my heart. A few weeks ago I showed a pencil sketch that Mystic Mystery had done for me, and I didn't realise that he was actually working on a larger piece based on that. Potentially I shouldn't have shown that one. But it is this picture here. And as you can see, the pencil sketch itself is in the top left corner, which is his OC meeting my OC. Then he's included a poem. And it says, "O scribbler reader of stories, one whose life is not without worries, yet here you stay to bring us joy, free to all, every girl and boy. Selfless and loyal to friendship I say, that you show us every day. So here's a little something from us to you. No need to thank us, it's the least we could do. No matter how bad the things you go through, remember, scribbler, we all love you. Always reach for the stars, Mystic Mystery." And to be honest, I got this when I was just going back to work and really not looking forward to it. And this did help, so thank you very much, Mystic Mystery. This was very kind of you. And it's very well drawn as well. I love the colours on this. I'll admit I didn't quite know how to react to this at first, because the messages in it paint me as something that I don't particularly think I am. But I really appreciate the sentiment, and thank you very much. And with that, I shall cut things short, because as I said, 3 a.m, and I need more sleep, because I only got 2 hours last night because of working on the Halloween special. Which will come soon. Soon, my pretties. Soon, my pretties. Yeah, I should put to sleep now. Thank you once again to my wonderful patrons, Dawn Holland, Quill and Lead, Red Tiger, Limey Pony, Ian Jensen, Shining Tevos Star, Marcus, Stephen Knight, The One Ryu, Mystic Mystery, Andrew, Xena, whom I will be seeing on Sunday, Starlight Stream, Mad Curse, Thought Police and Spies, Ask Nightmare Luna, Ilya Leonov, Corpulent Brony, Houston Russell, Sturdy Solus, Norman, Scout Charger, Klaus Hyde, and Peregrine Caged, who is a wonderful author. Thank you very much to everybody. Be lovely to each other. Good night, everybody.